I decided that I'd take a moment today to put my face out there in front of all you beautiful people. Literally put my face out there. Here it is. Here's my face. To explain a little bit more about what my role is as a life transition coach and celebrant. It's a really flowery title that I've adopted because I have a real passion and purpose and commitment to assisting with life's transitions. There are many of them as we literally walk our journey through our life, the biggest of all being our transition at death. So, in my opinion, there is no such thing as death. There is only a transition into the next, into the afterlife. That's obviously not everyone's belief, but I don't see death as a big, scary, taboo, mysterious, frightening, to be feared event. I see it as the next grandest adventure and something that we are so uneducated about and we are so ill prepared for. And there's so many emotions and feelings around that absolute certainty because none of us are getting out of this gig alive. And we know that. And we know that from an age of understanding. We know that from preteen years at least, that everything and everyone dies. And we're not educated about it. We don't speak about it. We don't speak to our nearest and dearest about it, let alone integrating it into a forum which would be really helpful, really useful, like schools. Normalizing the idea of death at a very young age so that the concepts and the understanding and the processes are familiar with people before they set out on this journey and end up being confronted by the first death that occurs in their life that is highly traumatic, confusing, and creates belief patterns to support them for the rest of their life. So in our current system, we have our health care system, which is all the medical factions. It's our medical platform. It's health care, GPs, hospitals, hospices, specialists. You know, there's a range, a massive range of medical support services out there, which essentially support us at the end of life. Then we have the death care industry, which is our funeral directors. Pretty much that's it that looks after us at that point. And the end of life role, and it's referred to as a death doula, death companion, midwife to the dying, call it what you will, that's why I've adopted my own term, is the intermediary between those two. Because these days, the art of prolonging life is almost taken over the art of knowing and accepting our death. There are so many interventions on a medical scale. We celebrate achievement in this life, and when someone has a life-limiting illness, a terminal diagnosis, everybody rallies to say fight, fight, fight. We celebrate success, we celebrate achievement consistently throughout life, and if we were to be dying, it is the same. There's this whole culture around you will fight it, you will have all the treatment, you will have all the intervention. I'm not necessarily in agreement with that. However, because people can live with their dying, with their illness, with their life-limiting, chronic, debilitating illness for weeks, for months, at times even years, this role is evolving to the point of almost necessity in society from many points of view. One being we can have an active role in our own death if we are supported and have advice and a mentor and a companion and a go-to person, that one person we can create familiarity and trust and reliance upon, then we're going to have a very connected experience in walking with that person towards our death. The other point is that as we live longer and the baby boomers saturate our demographic in 20 to 25 years as our aging population and our dying population, the system is going to be horribly, horribly taxed. So I can see a shift in public policy and government spending to find alternative options to dying in hospitals. Many people want to die at home. The percentage is around 80%. Given your best case scenario, where would you like to die? What environment would you like to be in? Is that something you've even considered? However, the reality is more around 10 to 14% actually get to die in that space, in their own space, for many reasons. Essentially, you need a very committed caregiver to support you through that process, which is difficult. But the resources, the practical equipment that's required, again, the community support that's available, you do need nurses, you do need respite. It's a tricky thing to navigate, and people are really, really bad at it because we're not experienced in it previously. Thankfully, who would want to be terribly experienced in supporting their loved ones through their deaths? So this role is essential in providing that support, providing practical, logistical, emotional, all the tools that are required to assist someone to make their own personal choices in regards to their death, instead of being swept along by the system that exists as we do with our healthcare normally. So it's not a medical role, it's not a legal role, it's like a counsellor, a best friend, a caregiver, an administrator, all rolled into one package. It's a one-stop shop. And my prior experience as a funeral director and a funeral celebrant and a counsellor and a volunteer in hospice and being a hands-on caregiver to somebody that was dying, being around people close to their death, being around people immediately after death, dealing with families that are grieving from the loss of a loved one, has equipped me enormously with understanding the process, understanding the challenges, understanding the pitfalls, and having those solutions. So I hope that makes a bit more sense. It's a very long spiel, but this is an unknown area. It is going to become the norm in years to come. I have no doubt in my mind. There's a movement already. This death doula movement is getting a lot of attention. So should you or anyone you know ever require that level of support, please reach out. I feel absolutely privileged to do what I do. It's what I'm here to do, and I would be humbled to help anybody in that situation. Thanks for listening. Have a fantastic day.